Lads, call me Mick Bayless right now because I'm now becoming the number one hater on a certain player. And it's a player that I loved. It's a player that I absolutely loved. And it is Jalen Brunson. It's Jalen Brunson, man. I love Jalen Brunson. I love the fact that this 6'1" guard is going in, is taking it in the post with his footwork. I like the fact that the guy's putting up near 30 and won 50 games with New York. This is the most overrated basketball player in the world right now. And I'm sorry someone has had to say it. Overrated does not mean bad. Jalen Brunson's an all-star. Jalen Brunson's a top 15 player in the NBA right now. Jalen Brunson is one of the best point guards in the world. Without question, one of the best point guards in the world. But he's the most overrated basketball player in the world right now. I saw a ranking list that ranked him as the 5th best player in the playoffs. The 5th best player. And this isn't, I don't understand what the criteria is for this. Because this is not who has had the best season. This is not an MVP ranking where if you want to put him 5th in your MVP ladder, I'm cool with that. But you know what? There was a year where Tony Parker was 4th. There was a year where Joakim Noah was 4th in the MVP voting. They had unbelievable seasons. Heck, Isaiah Thomas. Do you not remember Isaiah Thomas's year? Let's not be fooled by one unbelievable season. These guys can be good. These guys can be great. They're not top 5 players in the NBA. But still. Kawhi Leonard, supposedly worse than Jalen Brunson, and not had a worse season. Kawhi Leonard, a worse basketball player than Jalen Brunson, unless you want to argue the best abilities availability, that's ludicrous. Jason Tatum, worse than Jalen Brunson? What are we doing? And loads of people are saying Jason Tatum shrinks in the playoffs. Why? Because he was bad in his first ever NBA Finals? Jason Tatum has been an unbelievable playoff performer. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Man dropped 51 in a Game 7 last year. What are we talking about? He dropped 51 in a Game 7. 51 in a Game 7. And there's a good chance that he goes and wins a title, wins Finals MVP this year. And then I'm tweeting out and I'm reading through comments and people are arguing that Jalen Brunson is better than Stephen Curry right now. I'm sorry, there's no point guard. There is no point guard other than maybe, actually no, Shea and Luka. Steph Curry is, he's no lower than 3. You can argue Steph Curry is the best point guard in the damn NBA right now. And I don't care what people are saying. The Warriors didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, because his second best player decided he wanted to play so badly he got benched for a rookie who was drafted outside the lottery. His third best player spent a third of the season suspended and has a problem with fighting people. His 4th best player sometimes shows up, sometimes doesn't. And when he does show up, he seems like he forgot how to play basketball. And his 5th best player is a rookie who wasn't even drafted in the lottery. That is not on Steph Curry. There are situations, just like it wasn't on T-Mac when the Orlando Magic stunk it up in the 2003-2004 season. Just like it wasn't on Dame when the Portland Trailblazers stunk it up last season. Well, to be fair, they did rest him. And the worst part is you're like, oh, they didn't make the playoffs. They won 46 games. They only won 4 games less. 4 games less than the New York Knicks. And I'm telling you, if you want to talk about injuries for Jalen Brunson, being like, oh, they were missing Julius Randle. Man, Randle was fine until the All-Star break. He was an All-Star. More than half the season, he was an All-Star. OG Anunoby injured for most of the season. You only got him at the trade deadline. You didn't even have OG Anunoby for most of the season. And you had RJ Barrett, who was perfectly healthy, and Quentin Grimes, who was a pretty damn good player. He was such a good player that Stephen A. Smith still thinks he plays for the Knicks. Miles McBride stepped up huge. And yeah, Mitchell Robinson got injured, but you know what? Isaiah Hartenstein, the statless all-star, brilliant. And that's not taken away from Jalen Brunson. But saying that his situation is any different isn't worse than Steph Curry's situation, and he came out with 4 more wins. The only problem is that he ended up as the 2nd seed rather than 10th seed because he's in the Eastern Conference, which sucks. Jalen Brunson is the best guard the New York Knicks have had since Walt Frazier. But my God, am I not gonna let these narratives? Am I not gonna let the disrespect for some of the greatest basketball players of all time, the greatest basketball players of this era right now? Because we've seen this before. How many times have we seen undersized guards have one unbelievable season, then fall off? We've seen Trae Young. We've seen Isaiah Thomas just in the last 6 years. How many times are we gonna make the same mistake about the undersized guards? The undersized guards. How many times are we gonna make the same mistake? And when the New York Knicks inevitably lose, they might lose to a 50% Joel Embiid in the first round. I'm not gonna lie. When a Joel Embiid at 50% of his ability, athletic ability, played 37 minutes, they were so much better than the Knicks when he was on the floor. So much better. And if they don't win in round one, what? They face a Giannis-less Milwaukee team or a Pacers team who haven't made the playoffs since the 1 year Oladipo decided to become a star? They have to go through them. And then they go through those two, which is grand. They go through two quite easy matchups in the first two rounds. And then they're going to get embarrassingly badly swept by the Boston Celtics. And then we're going to go into next year, and the New York Knicks are going to go and win somewhere between 40 and 50 games again. And Jalen Brunson's going to average probably less numbers because Randall's going to be back. He's going to be an all-star. And the Knicks are going to will it into him being a starter. And they're going to lose in the first or second round in the playoffs for the rest of their career. Man is better than Trae Young. That's what I'll give that much. He's better than Trae Young. He's better than Trae Young, sure. Because he plays... Does he play more defense than Trae Young? But, like, you're acting like he's even better, like, fifth best player in the NBA. Man, he's not... If he was still on the Mavs, he would be the second best player. He's not even as good as Kyrie Irving. He's not as good as Kyrie. And I don't even like Kyrie Irving. He might not even be top 5 at his position. If you consider Kyrie... To be fair, you can't really consider Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic point guards. But if you want to just say primary ball handling guards, Kyrie and Luka both effectively play the same position. If you want to put both of those guys in, the two of those guys, you've got Steph Curry. You've got Dame, who is in the conversation with Brunson. I'm not saying Brunson's better. I'm not saying Dame's better. You've got when Ja Morant's healthy. Who is better? I don't know. I'll take probably Brunson, but it's a debate. Do you want to know what's not a debate? Jalen Brunson over Stephen freaking Curry. What are we doing? What are we doing? We've seen this so many times. How do people make the same mistake so many times? And I'm sorry, Knicks fans. I'm sorry. You can dislike this video as much as you want. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn because I'm going to say it like I see it. Jalen Brunson is unbelievable. Jalen Brunson is one of the 15 best players in the world. And if you want to argue that he's the 4th best point guard in the NBA, I'll concede. You know what? You probably got me there. I don't think he is, but you can argue it. If you think he's the 5th best overall player in the NBA, you need to, you're delusional. You're more delusional than me, and I'm a Leeds fan. I believe Archie Gray's better than Kobe Minu. You're more delusional than me, lads. And that's hard.